thought they were 2 milligrams. I would pop them like nothing. And then I found out last week after tuning for
It is 6 o'clock, and we'll call this meeting to order. If you would please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And each month we'd like to share a portion of our vision, mission, and belief statements. And this month, we believe all students have the ability to learn, are important, and have unique skills to contribute successfully to our world. We believe in a valued, highly qualified, team-oriented staff that cares for, supports, and teaches every student to their full potential every day. We believe that support and teamwork among our school district, families, and the community provides the most effective learning outcomes in and out of the classroom. And we believe in relevant, inclusive, and engaging curriculum that appropriately prepares students for their life endeavors. And now we will start with the students of the month in the elementary.
Well, we are excited to share this evening who our students of the month are. So we're going to start with Lou James. So Lou, who is your teacher?
Mrs. Hodge.
Okay, let's see what Mrs. Hodge had to say about you, all right? She said, Lou is such a caring and respectful student. He loves to be silly and have fun, but he knows when it's time to focus and learn. He's a great role model to his classmates. He loves to participate in the lessons. Not only can I always count on him to be ready to answer questions, but he puts a lot of thought in what I'm teaching and will ask great questions that create wonderful class discussions. I'm so proud of the growth he's showing this year, and I'm so lucky to be his teacher. So there you go. And Lou, on the back, there's a free pizza too back there. All right. Okay, for first grade, Taylor Wilkeson. Who's your teacher?
Miss Hadwell.
Okay, let's see what Miss Edroth had to say about Taylor. Taylor was chosen as Student of the Month for her consistent participation and positive attitude in the classroom. She's always eager to engage in learning, completes her work responsibly, and is often the first to step up to help or assist others. Taylor is a thoughtful listener who takes pride in doing her best and continually strives to improve. Her kindness, strong work ethic, and willingness to support her classmates makes her a wonderful role model. Congratulations. All right, second grade, Caroline Feltner. In third grade, we've got Lindley Ward. I know this one's here. Fourth grade, Audrey Hill. All right, Audrey, who is your teacher? Okay, Miss Barker says about Audrey, she is a true model student and a wonderful example for others in our classroom. She consistently follows directions, shows respect to both her teacher and classmates, and always strives to do the right thing. Audrey is kind and helpful, often supporting her classmates whenever they need it. Audrey actively participates in class and puts forth her best effort in everything she does. Along with being responsible and hardworking, Audrey is also sweet, funny, and creative, bringing a positive attitude and joy to our classroom each day. I'm so proud of Audrey and thrilled to recognize her as our Student of the Month. And in fifth grade, Finley Gate. Finley, who's your teacher?
Mr. Graves.
Okay, Mr. Graves. That's what he says. Okay. Finley is a quiet and thoughtful person who often prefers to stay in the background. Despite her shy nature, she consistently demonstrates an incredible work ethic and puts in genuine effort every day. She never hesitates to lend a hand to others, even when it means taking an extra task herself. Her kindness and reliability make her someone people naturally turn to when they need support. Finley may not seek attention, but her actions speak volumes about her caring character. Congratulations.
All right, and now the middle and high school.
All right, so eighth grader Reed Patterson. Okay, in middle school we have several, so let's see what your teachers had to say about you. Reed is just one of those kids who you can always count on to make you smile. He comes to class every day ready to learn and is kind to his peers. He completes his assignments and asks great questions. Aside from academics, Reed is graced our English class with many songs this year. He has a voice of an angel and keeps our class entertained daily. He is a wonderful student, and it truly has been a pleasure to teach him this year. I look forward to teaching him again next year in high school. Reed has such a big heart and is one of the nicest students. He loves to chat and has a curious mind. I have loved having Reed in my class this year. And finally, it has been great to have Reed in class this year. I've appreciated his hard work and participation. His energy is unrivaled, and he has a voice of a generation. If you know, you know. So, and our 10th grade student is at Bladen Poly, but he had to stay home sick today, so it's not with us.
Oh. All right. Well, again, congratulations to the students of the month and their families. And we invite you to stay for the rest of the meeting. But if you need to leave, we understand, and we'll pause for just a second and continue here in just a minute.
Renee, I was wrong. They're here for you.
All right, we'll continue on with recognitions from the elementary.
All right. So we've got so much going on right now that I just picked a few different things. And so, first of all, I want to shout out to our teachers who've done a really good job of preparing our students. Monday is our 5th season in Indiana assessment seasons. It runs for a few months here, but our teachers have prepared our students well, and I'm sure they're going to do a good job. Today, the PTO hosted a Stop Everything and Read Day, and the students got to enjoy a glow party, and we really appreciate our PTO. Kudos to the 3rd grade students and their teachers for their wax museum this year. We saw the skills of public speaking, writing, researching, and creativity that were all displayed in one project. This week is FFA week in the middle senior high. They put on the petting zoo and tractors and everything that goes along with FFA week. We've recently experienced a successful homecoming and senior night for boys basketball, and they interplay this next Wednesday evening. This week at the high school, it will be school-based SAT. And on that particular day, because we have to use a lot of staff to put on the SAT, we send our freshmen to a field trip. So they are headed to Vincennes University. So that's just a few things that are happening around here, but sometimes there's so much going on that I wonder how we get any learning done, but we're doing a really good job with that too. So.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
And saying that we don't have anyone for public comments, we'll go on to routine business. And our first agenda item is the meeting minutes for the January 29, 2026 reorganization meeting. And do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. And then the meeting minutes for the January 29, 2026 regular session. Do I have a motion to approve?
Approve.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? All right, and then the meeting minutes for the January 29th, 2026 Board of Finance meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
I move we approve.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? All right, thank you. And then the meeting minutes for the January 29th, 2026 executive session. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll approve.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? All right, thank you. And then we have our treasurer's report. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
And a second?
I'll second.
Second.
Steve can have it.
Yeah. All in favor? All right, thank you. And then we have our list of personnel. Do I have a motion to approve? And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? All right, on that list, there are several things, and a couple that I'd just like to point out that just got approved was the retirement of Annette Baker. We'd like to wish her a happy retirement. And then also the hires of our middle and high school principal, Miss Julie Evans, and then our new elementary principal, Miss Connie McDaniel. And we welcome those to Bloomfield. Or Julie been here, but yeah, welcome Connie. All right. Yeah, she's still welcome.
Yeah.
And then let's see. There's no list of donations this month. We have a list of fundraisers. Do I have a motion, or do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion, we approve.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? All right, thank you. And then now we're on to other business. And the first is 1003 flexibility waiver for the 2026 school year. Would you like to explain a little bit?
Sure. So when thinking of our parent-teacher conferences, what we've done in the past is had them one day in September during the school day. And in a survey to parents, I found that some parents prefer that, doing it during the typical workday, but other parents prefer it where it's in the evening after their workday ends. And then some parents had no preference at all. So really it was across the board, but seeing a significant number for during the day and at the end of the day, I wanted to work with the teachers on making an improvement for parents. So through I think it was about 2 or 3 months of discussions going back and forth, talking with the teachers on a plan that we could come up with, what we are asking the board to approve is this resolution, which then I would turn into the DOE, asking for them to approve it. And what we would be doing is on one day, the last Wednesday of September, we would end school at 1 o'clock. So if you compare having an asynchronous day where the teachers are all meeting with parents and not available for their students, and compare that to a 5-hour classroom day, I think it's a great increase in instructional time and a better use. And it will also give us the opportunity to start conferences at 1:15. So some parents can schedule them during the typical school day, like some parents wanted. And then we'll also have the afternoon and into the early evening. And so parents can schedule it based on what's best for them. So the first step in the process was working with the teachers and coming up with this plan. The step we're at now is asking you to approve it. The next step would be submitting it to the DOE for the state to approve it.
All right. Is there any questions or comments? All right, seeing none, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor? All right, thank you very much. And then also a resolution for hourly employees, and you'd like to explain that?
Sure. If you remember, on February 19th, we ended the school day early and sent everybody home. When you look at our annual salaried employees, such as teachers, administrators, if we send them home, they still get paid the same. But sending our hourly employees home means that they would have a reduction in pay. And since this was such a severe weather event, I wanted to make it clear that I wanted everybody out of the building. And so I only feel like it's fair to offer to pay them for the hours that they missed that day. And I do look at it as different than like when we do a 2 hour delay or whatnot, because on a lot of those days, we give the option of makeup work that they can do and ways that they can make up those hours. But on this specific day, I wanted to make sure nobody was in the building. I wanted everybody out. And so I don't have the power. I explained it to several people. I don't have the power to just say, yes, pay these people for hours they did not work. So the way that we can legally do it is go through and ask you to pass a resolution specific to this day so that we're just talking about February 19th and that specific situation.
All right. Is there any questions or comments?
How long, like, I know that some janitors work, nights, so how long were they just like out for all night or how?
Yeah,
Um,
so the people that work during the day, it might be like an hour or two that they got cut short. The longest anybody would be one shift total, because just that day. So we have some custodians that come in and start at 3 that work 4 hours. We have some that work 5 hours, and then we have some that work longer. So the most it would be for anybody is 8 hours.
Okay.
Any more questions or comments?
Make a motion to approve.
Thank you. And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? All right, thank you. And then also the Next Generation School Improvement Grant funded contract. And you'd like to explain that?
So one thing that especially our middle school teachers, but the middle and high school teachers, one request that they've had for years and years and years is they would like to see middle school teachers only teach middle school and high school teachers only teach high school. It's never been a reality to be able to do that, and it still is not a reality. But with hiring a consultant through the SOS company and bringing in an outside consultant to look at our master schedule, it's giving us the opportunity to reduce the number of classes that teachers teach. So, for example, I think we can get it down to where high school teachers at the most teach one middle school class. And so the excitement within the staff is very high. Part of that is some of the other items that we're going to do with the grant fund include adding more classes to the middle school, and we'll be offering some more classes. So that helps in building that master schedule. But when you look at a master schedule, it is so intricate, and every change has a domino effect. And so to ask our people to do it while they're doing their normal workday and take on such a big task, what I wanted to do is we had grant funds, so use grant funds to bring in a consultant and have them work with our staff to produce a master schedule. And so I think it'll be exciting for our teachers, and they'll actually get an answer to a request they've had for years and years. So it just took a grant to make it happen.
All right. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? All right, thank you. And then creation of a new position. And you'd like to give a little background on that?
Yeah. So also with the Next Generation School Improvement Grant, one focus that when I was in the writing stages that I put in is, even though I believe we have good relations with our community and a lot of solid community partners, we can always do better, and we can do better at partnering in ways that help the community and help our students, looking at that mutually beneficial work between the community and schools. And so with grant funds, what I'd like to do is create a new position that would start July 1, which goes with the 3 years of implementation for the grant. And the idea would be bringing in most likely a retired teacher from us that has a lot of experience with the school, but also has been in the community for a really long time, and looking at very specific ways that we can partner with organizations in the community. And so the job description kind of outlines the idea, and this would be part-time, thinking of the ideal candidate would be retired and probably doesn't want to work full-time, but and I do think the job description will kind of ebb and flow as we go through on thinking of new ideas and new ways to connect. But really, it's to increase our partnerships with the community and just have an even better relationship than we already have.
All right. Is there any questions or comments? All right, seeing none, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion, we approve.
And a second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor? Thank you. And then the last one, another business, is the contract for ed options. And if you'd like to give a little information on that.
Yep. So we have a student who was wanting to leave us and go to an online school. And so what I asked that mother and child to do is pilot an online school option for us so that we can see how well online schools work and if it's something that we can host. There have been schools this year that have started to offer an online school option through contracts with Ed Options, which is a company, or it's within the Edmentum company. And so the idea would be just exploring what that could look like for us as we continue to look at our enrollment and ways that we can possibly increase our enrollment. So if it is something that works out well, we would not want to push any of our students to online, but we have over the past several years lost a lot of students to online school options. So the idea would be, if this works out well in this exploration and pilot time, if that works out well, the idea would be that we could create our own where we could then increase our ADM.
Good. Are there any questions or comments? All right, seeing none, do I have a motion to approve?
A motion we approve.
And a second?
I'll second it.
All right, thank you. All in favor? All right, thank you very much. And now on to our director's report. Yeah.
Okay, well, I thought I would just start off by giving you all a quick update on the status of our student illnesses, from the past month or so. I know everyone's aware we've had a lot of sickness in our community, and it's definitely affected us here at the school. I am cautiously optimistic that the peak was last week, because we had so many students that stayed homesick last week. We had an unusually large amount of students that were sent home sick last week. And these are students that are legitimately sick with, mostly with fevers and predominantly diagnoses. But the numbers from last week to this week are very encouraging. Last week I saw 519 students in the nurse's office, and of those, 81 were sent home sick. And the 500 isn't that unusual, but the 81 is very unusual. It is very unusual to send home that many kids from school in 1 week. It's more than twice the amount that I would normally send home. And so I know we've only had 4 days of school this week. I'm on track to see between 400 and 500 students, but so far only 26 have been sent home sick this week. So a huge improvement from last week. And I think our attendance numbers in general are better, but as Dr. Goad was mentioning to me before the meeting, we're seeing more staff members that are sick this week, unfortunately. But I don't see those numbers, so I didn't really realize it until she told me. But yeah, the kids, the numbers are exponentially better than they were last week. So I'm hoping the peak is behind us. You never know, we could have another surge, but this has definitely been a better week for sure. So I picked a good week to come here. Some highlights of health events that have happened so far this school year in the nurse's office, which once again, expressing gratitude for the nice big nurse's office. These things couldn't take place, in the other little nurse's office that I worked in out of 10 years that the other nurses worked out of for 40. So, but we had the dentist come twice. I know you guys have seen those reports already, but we partner with Big Smiles Dental Company in Indiana. So they come with a dentist, a hygienist, and 1 or 2 assistants. And of course, parents have to sign up and register their students. So we had 38 students that were seen. Of those 38, 20 were actually referred out for further treatment. They, had so much decay or needed teeth extracted or infections, etc. But that's really important because they wouldn't have probably have seen the dentist otherwise. Maybe they would have, but some of them probably wouldn't have. So it's a great service that we offer. And I always hoped for bigger numbers with this, but that being said, that was 2 full days to see those 38. It was, starting at 7:30 and ending at 3:30. That was 2 full days of the dentist seeing students. So I would call that a success. We've had several CPR classes this year. We've had lots of small classes. It kind of sneaks up on the teachers sometimes. They need that to renew their teaching licenses. So we've had some smaller classes, but we had one with 8 staff members last week. So every time, I give a class, the staff are either renewing or initially getting certified in CPR, the use of the AEDs, choking and Heimlich maneuver, and the use of Narcan in the course. So 25 so far, 25 staff members so far have been certified or recertified. Another big health event in the nurse's office every year is the vision screenings. We're required by the state of Indiana to screen grades 1, 3, 5, and 8. The Lions Club came in September and with their machines, and they screened grades 3, 5, and 8. So that was 209 students that were screened, and 61 of those were referred out to see an optometrist because they didn't pass. So about a 29% failure rate with those 3 grades combined. The first grade is different because they don't do well on those machines. They're intimidated by them. They don't understand the instructions. There's a variety of reasons that first graders don't do well with those machines. So Dr. Stewart actually suggested years ago that I do the screenings myself with first graders. So I have the distance chart in the nurse's office, and then the up close, like the reading chart. So I did the screening on the entire first grade, and at that time we had 71 first graders that I screened, and 25 of those were referred for the potential need for glasses, which is about 21%. So it's a good thing that we do. In addition to the screening that I did on the first graders, another requirement from the state of Indiana is that you have to have an optometrist come in and assess them. It's called MCT, which stands for Modified Clinical Technique. And basically, they look inside the eye of the students to assess the health of the eye. It's non-invasive, they just shine a light and look in there in a dark room. Oh, we only have one student that didn't pass that. But Dr. Brian Stewart and his wife, Dr. Lisa Stewart, came in and did that just a couple weeks ago for us. It always goes really smoothly. They're great with the kids, and they go around to every school in Greene County in one day and get this done. So if you know them or you go see them, express your thanks, because I'm not sure what we would do. IU used to have a group that came down and did it, and this is my 15th year. I think only a couple years IU came, and then they quit doing that, and Dr. Stewart just stepped right in and has been doing it ever since. And so our community should be very thankful. Those 2 doctors for doing that on their one day off a week. They spent going around to the hectic elementary schools and getting that done for us. So I'm very thankful to them. As far as what I need to do the rest of the school year is just other than survive. The school health report has to be submitted in the spring, and that includes all those vision statistics that I just gave you. A few other minor things, but vision and immunizations are the big ones for that report. And all that data is ready to go. I had to submit all the immunization data to the state back in November, and then you resubmit on the state report. So that's very time consuming, and it's over and done with. So I'm glad about that. But you have to check essentially every student's records, pre-K through 12, for that report. So it's very time consuming and always a big relief to have that behind me. I do have an immunization clinic coming up in March, and that is not because we have students that need shots this year. It's to get a jump start and get ahead for next year, because students entering 6th grade and 12th grade, there's for 6th graders, the Tdap and meningococcal vaccine are required, or not required in 5th grade, but they are in 6th grade. and then the seniors are required to get a second meningococcal vaccine. So usually we start out in August with at least 50% of 6th and 12th graders non-compliant or more. So, I'm just trying to make an effort to give the parents this opportunity to come in and have their kids get their shots at school in March. So we're a little ahead of the game in August. And then, in conclusion, I just want to thank the administration, teachers, support staff, because while I am kind of in my bubble doing my own thing, we do all work together. I rely heavily on the teachers and the office staff whenever I need a break or, someone to cover for me. Those are the ladies that, are quick to fill in, and the teachers too, because, they're with the kids all day, every day, and we talk on the phone, what do you think? And, if it's not something obvious, there's usually a conversation between the teacher and myself. So everyone works together. It takes all of us, to make this a safe environment and keep the kids as healthy as possible. So I appreciate the staff's help as well.
I have a question.
Yep.
On when you say referred out, so is it just then up to the parents to handle whether they
Well, for the vision, you mean like how
vision
many
and dental?
referred?
Yeah.
Yeah, so every student that's referred that didn't pass the vision screening, we always tell them, let us know if you need, if we can provide any help in
Yeah.
getting an eye exam. And Dr. Stewart and both the Dr. Stewarts are great to work with and making appointments and squeezing people in. Ultimately, it does fall on the parent, but we do offer resources to help them. And we have actually, I know you guys are aware about our Angel Fund that we have. And so I have used that to help get kids glasses and eye exams many times over the years. And then as far as the dentist goes, again, they let the parents know what needs to happen, offer help if possible. But yeah, it ultimately falls.
Thank you.
I think you're selling yourself short. You, you went, and I know you arranged dental care for some kids, and when I read that on your update, it almost made me teary-eyed, just because, we always think about kids who depend on the school for their meals, but we have some, now I'm crying, and like, but, they depend on the school for healthcare too, and you're a big part of that. And they feel comfortable with things.
Well, thank you.
Mhm.
We do what we can to help.
All right, well, thank you for the report, and again, thank you for everything you do for our students. All right, and then on to the superintendent's report.
Right, so starting off with staff members of the week. For the week of February 2nd, we honored or recognized Matt Bales and Troy Fry. You guys all remember all the snow. Both of them have been here about 7 years, and that's the most snow that either of them have ever cleared at once. So it was a lot, and the truck had to get repaired afterwards. Probably figure out why. But then the following week, Christy Berger, kindergarten teacher, went and did some extra things with the e-learning days, and we wanted to recognize her for that. February 16th, Jeff Montgomery. Like a lot of our employees, we can go on and on about all that he does and just positive attitude. And then February 23rd, one of the Chartwell's employees, Shandy Hayes, just has been absolutely awesome, very positive, and has started to take on and learn some extra roles within the Chartwell's company. So then I wanted to provide two different updates. One on the child care construction update. I like giving everybody good news, but that's not happening here. So we have Halstead Architects as our architect company, and they're kind of helping with the organization and the flow and bringing everybody together. And we had hired a construction management company named Hagerman. And as of last week, they backed out because the price point that they agreed to before and the timeline they agreed to before, they said they could no longer do. So Tabor Owens is trying to pick up where they left off. So I've had several extra meetings with all of those groups, and they're trying to use some of the bids that we had already gotten. And so we're trying to get the budget back closer to what it was and the money that we have available. And the start date is now looking, they're saying mid-August, but it's construction, so it could be a little bit later than that. So I'm looking at, while the goal of this childcare is for our whole community, when it comes to staff members and their children, um, if we only had childcare for them, there's a lot less restrictions, legal requirements, whatnot. So I'm looking at ways to start offering August 1st somewhere in-house or close by, um, for staff members so that they can start the school year. And then as soon as we can open up the facility over there, it would open up to the whole community. I'm still working on a couple grant options that are available. That my goal with the grants is, one specific one is to reduce the cost for everybody that does it. So we haven't solidified the actual price point, because if I can get a grant that's out there for early child care and early education, then we'll use that grant to lower that cost for everybody that's in the program. So there's some child care updates, and then our next generation school improvement grant. Just as far as, there is a lot that we're going on this year. Remember, is a planning year is what we're calling it, and then the next 3 years are the implementation years. So in the planning years, like I talked about earlier, working on changing master schedule and planning what resources we can add for teachers, what training we can do for teachers, what we can change within how we're teaching, what programs we can add. Those are all the things that we're looking at. So last week I took a trip to, it's called Rural School Innovation Zone. I took a few people from our staff, as well as Emily from ROI, and we looked at how some schools work together in that Rural School Innovation Zone. Next week, I'm going with a group of teachers to another school that's been identified as an exemplary school, and we're going to take some tours of some classrooms and look at what's happening in those classrooms for them to be labeled as an exemplary school. There's possibly one more site visit that might be in April with some teachers that we'll take. We also did, a few weeks ago, we did a school quality review. We don't have the final results back yet. I'm expecting them early next week, but we had outside consultants come in that do school quality reviews, and just in conversations afterwards, there were some very good things that they saw, and then there's some areas where we can improve, and that's what we want them to come to figure out. So they're trying to put it all together for us so that we can then take that and start working to improve and continue celebrating the things that are going well. So that's where we're at with the next gen SIG.
All right, thank you. And is there any board member comments and items for future agendas? All right, seeing none, next month's meeting will be a week early due to spring break, so it will be March the 19th, here at 6 p.m. in the Media Center. And